Today officially begins the I'm going to take your phone if I see it policy, like we've all been asked to do. So just be aware that that's going to be, if I see your phone, I'll just take it. I don't anticipate that there's going to be a problem with phones. I strongly suspect that some of you, at least occasionally, are going to forget, and you're going to pull your phone out, and then I'll take it, and I'll give it back to you at the end of the period, and we're all good. That's as far as I think it's going to go. So I'm not going to talk any more about phone consequences, because it seems like you're all like you got a good feel for that. The second thing is you should make sure your Chromebooks are closed now. You won't need them necessarily today, but the plant list is on there, so if you want to look at the plant list later, you just keep them out and you can open them up later, but keep them closed for now. And then let's see. In a couple minutes, I'm going to go through the last little like syllabus style stuff. And so what you should know is that tomorrow I'm going to post the course syllabus as an assignment, and I'm going to ask that that you look at that with a parent or guardian at home, and you can either print it and sign it and bring it back and give it to me, or you can just write a little note and say, I looked at the course syllabus with my parent or guardian, and then you and your parent and guardian can sign the note. Either one of those things is acceptable. But I'm going to ask that you look through it. There is some stuff on the course syllabus that I am not presenting to you because you can all read. The things that I'm presenting to you in the presentation that we've been using, that will be posted to Canvas as well. And and the main reason that I am going through this stuff is because these are the kinds of things where I don't want there to be unpleasant surprises. And when I say unpleasant surprises, I mean things like we talked about how like summative work is worth 80% of your grade. And I don't want there to be confusion. If you have been doing well on formative work and you go into the first test with a 85% in the class, but you bomb that first test, your grade is gonna drop. And that can be confusing if you're not used to weighted grades. And so I don't want that to be a surprise. I don't want any of the policies to be a surprise. So I have a couple other ones that I'm gonna go through briefly, and then that's going to be a wrap from my point of view. At that point, if you have any questions, I'm just going to say, come find me outside of class, or you can send me an email, or we can have a phone call, or we can meet. If your folks want to know, some clarity on something, I'm happy to meet with people and explain it. Everything is designed to make your lives as straightforward and simple as possible. And to allow me to do my job as effectively and efficiently as possible. So the first thing I want to talk about is absences. So I mentioned, we talked about late work on Tuesday, and where things can sometimes shift a little bit is when you are consistently unable to be here. And by consistently, I mean roughly a third of the time or more. If you're missing one day a week on average, then there's going to be it's going to play out differently for you just because you're not here. And what I want you to think about is that you are not going to be penalized for being absent. I am going to be flexible. I will make plans with you. I will work with you with those plans. But this is a hands-on lab class. And if you're not here for the hands-on lab stuff, then no matter how hard you're willing to work outside of class, you won't learn those skills. And I guess the way that maybe a good analogy would be getting your driver's license. Like if you study the driver's manual and you get online and you look at videos and you take practice tests, and then you go in to get your driver's license, you might ace the written test, you might get 100% on it. But if you've never sat down behind the wheel of a car, you still can't drive. And that is kind of how things go in this class. There's two parts to the stuff that we're doing. There's stuff that you know, and there's stuff that you can do. I want to make sure that you have both those skills, and if you're not here, I won't be able to help you learn how to do stuff. So if you're missing, on balance, a third of the classes or more, it might be one big chunk of time that you're gone, or maybe it's once a week, or maybe it's once a week for a couple months, and then you're here for a couple months, and then it's twice a week for a month, and however that plays out, just know that I will work with you, but it's gonna take its toll on your ability to demonstrate your understanding on the assessment. And that's not, again, going to be a penalty. I'm not going to penalize you. I'm not going to say, sorry, you can't take the test, or I'm going to take points off. You won't know how to do things. So when you come in and I say, okay, here's a bucket and a net, go collect macrovertebrates from the creek and tell me what you have, you aren't going to be able to do it if you weren't here. And so what I would say is, if this starts to be a problem, what you can anticipate is that we'll have a meeting with you folks, administrators, counselor, and try to come up with a plan. If what ends up happening, thank you. If what ends up happening is that we switch you to a pass no pass, or we kind of run the class like it's on online with partial credit, like I'm pretty good with anything, but we just need to make sure that gets addressed. Okay, and then the next thing I want to talk about is reassessment, and we talked a little bit about this the other day, but I want to be crystal clear. First of all, the formative work you can't do reassessments on, but the summative work you can. You can reassess up to 80% of the total points that were possible on the original assessment, but you have to have everything else turned in prior to the original assessment date. You have to have all the assignments done and turned in. If they were late, that's okay, as long as they're turned in before the original assessment. You might not even get any points for them, but if you turn them in and they were satisfactorily completed, then what I'll do is I will allow you to do a retake. Now, if you turn in a bunch of stuff and it's not great, it's not impressive work, then I won't let you do a reassessment. If you are missing stuff, by the time we take the original assessment, then I won't let you do a reassessment. And the reason there is because if you want a decent grade in the class, do what you need to do before the test. If you don't do that, then what you're conveying is it's not that important to you to get a good grade. And if it's not that important to you, that's fine. We won't do reassessments because that takes time from you and from me, and there's no point. So put the time in advance if you want me to put the time in afterward on a reassessment. Okay. Reassessments, the general rule of thumb is you have a week to get them done from when the original grade shows up in Canvas. So if I take a week to grade something and then you see your grade, you have 1 week to come to me and say, hey, I'd like to do a reassessment there. If that's not going to work out, then we need a plan in writing, and just know that in general, I'm not going to be very flexible about this unless there's a really good reason. If you're going to be out of town for 2 weeks, then we'll wait 2 weeks, then you can do the reassessment. But if you just have a lot going on, then you'll have to make room for this in your busy schedule. And then a couple of things that might shift around depending on how things are going and what I'm seeing from you and whether or not I have a good feel for your skill and your knowledge, is that I may ask you to do something quite different from the original assessment. I might have you come in and show me in person that you can do something, or I might have you make a video of you doing something, or we might work through some paper and pencil stuff together. And so if you do a reassessment, don't necessarily expect that I'm just going to give you the exact same assessment and say, here, do it again, good luck. I might do that, but I might not. What I'm looking for is to see that you have a broad set of skills, not that you know the right answers to a certain small set of questions. So if the sense that I get is that if I give you the same test 10 times, you're gonna do better and better and better and better and better on it, that's not really learning a broad skill. That is, now you can take that one test and do well. And I'm looking for you to be able to apply your understanding in a variety of applications. So just be aware, I reserve the right, if you come in and say, hey, can I do a reassessment, I reserve the right to say, yes, let's go to the other room and set up a apparatus, and you're gonna show me right now that you know how to use this to collect some data or do whatever it is that we were doing in class. And then the last thing is that some of you, very understandably, might want some exceptions to some of the things that we've talked about or some of the things that are on the course syllabus. And if that comes up, then if you ask me like, oh, I know we don't redo formative stuff, but can I have another shot at this? I was having a really bad day. Or shoot, I forgot to take that test and now it's been 3 weeks. Can I still take it? Or I don't, for example, round grades. If you get an 89.7%, that's a B. If you come to me and you're like, dude, can you round my grade? I'm going to point to something that's not there yet, which is a form that I've made. One-page form. It's got a place for you to just tell me who you are and what class you're in, and then basically you're going to explain what you're asking for the exception. Like, what's the general category? Late work, a reassessment, absences, and then you're going to explain the circumstances, and you're going to explain how you would like to resolve the exception. So I want another chance at the test. I would like you to round my grade. I want you to give me more points on this, whatever it is. And then once you've completed that form, you're going to take it home and have somebody at home look through it, sign it and approve it, and then bring it back to me, and I will take it to an administrator or a counselor. I'm not going to approve these. Somebody else will. And that is going to get us around one of the biggest weaknesses that I have as a teacher, which is that I want to say yes to everything. If you come to me and ask me to turn a grade, I want to say yes. If you want to turn something in late, I'm going to want to say yes. I'm going to want to say yes to everything. I would perfectly happily just give everybody an A and spend our time in class doing really cool science. That's what I would like to do. I don't want to grade stuff. I just want to work with you and learn and do science and have fun. But as soon as we start talking about points, I tend to cave because I don't want to be mean. I don't like being mean. So this is my solution to the problem. If there's somebody who needs to be mean, it's going to be somebody else. And I'm gonna I have my policies. I'm not going to make exceptions. But there's lots of people in this building who are way more important than me. And if they say, yeah, you get an exception for this, and you've earned it, then I'm good with it. So that'll be how the exception forms work. And I will post an example of the exception, or I'll post a blank copy of it on Canvas, and I will fill one out and post it so you can see what it'll look like. And then those will be available in the classroom. And if you ask for one, I'll give it to you. You can fill it out and get somebody to sign it, bring it back, and I'll see what our administrators and counselors think about it. Okay. Any questions about any of that? All right.